A simple funeral podcast. Saying goodbye the way you want to. A simple funeral podcast. Here's Mike Kinnaird.
So, literally out the drive and turn left. And we're fortunate really that already a few yards down the road and we're into pretty much open countryside. And it's the fact that you see things that you just don't normally see. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, honestly, this is just a few yards from my house. May blossom, I think this is called, in the hedgerows. I don't know if that's a real name for it, but May blossom is what we call it. And it just looks like someone scattered a handful of flour, just sprinkled flour in the hedges, tiny, tiny flowers, like a centimetre across, incredibly complicated. These shards of bright yellow from the rapeseed fields just over there. You don't notice this stuff because normally I would drive down here, so you just don't see it. If I look to the horizon, you see layer after layer of fields in these tiny stripes. Dark green, light green, brown, ochre. And over there, I can see a wind farm. 1, 2, 3, 4, what, about 8 turbines, 8 wind turbines? I don't notice that normally. You don't normally get the time to just stop and look around you. The weird thing is now, I can actually hear a car. Well, as you can hear for yourself, we've come across a road which is much busier even now in these times, but to be absolutely fair, it's mostly business vehicles. So there's a couple of tractors. That's a 40-foot articulated lorry and a van behind it. So really, these are vehicles that are helping to keep the rest of the wheels turning. So we found a public footpath. When I say footpath, it's a fairly well walked trek through a wood. More lorries driving by. But we need them. We really need them at this time. So I'm looking for these little signs, like little stickers on the fence posts with a bright yellow arrow. And that tells us it's a public right of way, please keep to the path. Thank you. Well, we will do. And I'm going to somewhere in particular, and I'll tell you when we get there. But again, for now, you just see things that you just don't normally see. Even if you go for a walk, like at the weekends, you don't see half these things because your mind's in another place. You're thinking about work and you're thinking about this and that and everything. So we will stick to the 1 hour that we're allowed to be out and have our exercise. Walking along this path through the wood, you can see some trees that have fallen down. We did have some really strong winds not that long ago. There's a few trees that have met their fate, but I think, to be honest, they're all a bit rotten anyway. So not really strong enough to survive anything really, but there's quite a few small ones, dead ones that have fallen down. Just behind us you can see little collections, little huts. So we think that some kids have been here making little dens.
The children that at the holiday lodges.
Yeah. children staying nearby, near some holiday lodges, will have probably used the perfect opportunity to create some dens. We walked past this 2-3 times, do you reckon?
Yeah.
And didn't notice it? It's enormous. It's higher than a normal 2-storey house. So probably three stories, 4 stories, I don't know, it's colossal, isn't it? Enormous, great, rickety, thin metal tower with a really spindly metal ladder going to the very top. And at the top, there was clearly an old wooden platform up there, but more than 3/4 of the wooden slats have now gone, rotted away. And at the very top of that, we think it's an old Second World War air raid siren.
That ladder is so narrow.
The ladder's incredibly narrow.
Imagine going up there.
Could you get 2 feet side by side
No, definitely not.
on those rungs? You couldn't, could you?
No.
But right up in the air. It can only be an old wartime air raid siren. And at the base it's got that corrugated metal that you might expect from that time. I don't know why, it's just sort of evocative, you know, that metal base around the bottom. But like I say, we walked past this maybe 2 or 3 times and didn't even see it was there. Ridiculous. You just notice things when you can just stop for a second and actually look around you. So again, following our little yellow arrows, public right of way, says on the sign, you are crossing a golf course. Please stay on permitted footpaths and be continually aware of golf balls. I've got to say that normally I don't think I'd want to walk on here. It'd be a bit precarious, wouldn't it?
It's fine. They're aware of you. The golfers are aware of you.
Yeah, but they could be flipping ages away. They could be right over there, whacking balls.
Dodge the balls. Dodge a ball.
I'm not dodging a golf ball that's travelling at whatever miles an hour, thank you very much. Anyway, the point is, I don't know how unusual this is, but it is a public footpath, and it is crossing a golf course. And I wonder how many of the hundreds and hundreds of players that have played here over the years have ever seen it looking and sounding quite like this. Ducks over there quite happily having a chat, taking an early morning stroll. And the greens just look perfect. Now when we came here a couple of days ago, there was a groundsman here with a massive squeegee. I mean, it must have been, what, 8-10 feet across? So he gets out of his cart, his motorised cart, and he's using this squeegee to scrape the dew off the top of the greens, because it was like silver tables. Wherever you saw green, it was just like a silver table, like a tablecloth over it. And he's just going around with his squeegee and he's just scraping the dew off. Because I guess, not being an expert in these things, we guess that the dew, if it's left on there, must eventually rot the grass. Because it's obviously so short. Quite a thing to see. Don't normally see those things. Anyway, we're off the course bit now, really, and heading down a more established walking path on the grass, back through the trees, to, again, a quiet spot that I've been looking for. Beautiful, because you look at the trees and, again, they're all different colours. There's dark greens, there's almost blacks, there's vivid lime greens, there's sagey kind of greens, ochres, little flicks of orange here and there, silver, on the bark of some of the trees. Those trees over there are almost red in places. It's early. We've only seen one man so far walking a dog, and that's it. It's getting the exercise, it's getting out in the fresh air, but it's also being here. Now, if you live in a big city and you're surrounded normally by noise and thousands of people, where do you find your quiet place? I don't know, because I don't live in a big city. But we've all got to find, I think, at times like this, a place where we can just go and be at peace. Now maybe it's not literally that, it's just somewhere where we are personally at some kind of peace. Because right now we need somewhere where we can just go and just stop and just think. And maybe that thinking is, in the context of what we're talking about, that I need to think about how I'm going to say goodbye to somebody who we sadly have lost in the middle of all this pandemic. I couldn't say goodbye at the time. I need to say goodbye later. I need to think about what's the right thing to do. What do I need from that time? What do I need from that experience? Maybe it's just we need to just press the reboot button and just think generally about life. You know, am I running around in circles for no reason at all? Is this all just a bit bonkers and crazy? Lots of us now are reassessing and having a bit of a think. So I accept that I'm very fortunate, and this is really just around the corner from where I live, and I can stand here, I can sit on the grassy bank. In fact, I think I probably will, because it's not wet. So I'll get down and just sit on this grassy bank and look at that fairway, because I can. But if you do live in a big city or a busy place, perhaps you can find somewhere that is your quiet place. Just for now, take a look around you and just have a bit of a think. Think positively about the what next.
That was another Simple Funeral podcast with Mike Kinnaird. Any way we can help you, then email Mike right now. Mike@thebestspeeches.com. Mike@thebestspeeches.com.